Good morning, Ms. Beekoff here. Welcome to advisory lesson number 7 of applying ATL skills. Today we're going to talk about the MYP personal project timeline, discuss the applying skills portion of the project, and reflect on our own use of ATL skills. Before we jump into the MYP portion, I want to mention our International Night. This is an annual event at Seneca Valley for the last 7 years. It's a way to celebrate the diversity of our community through food, performances, fashion, and a flag parade. And we would love students to participate. You can send video slides and photos. You can perform, have fashion and the flag parade. You can bring food in before the event. It is April 22nd, right outside our own stadium from 6 to 8 p.m. And I will include this slideshow that has all the information about the event and the Google form if you would like to participate in our module for this week. Okay, jumping into our personal project information. I've shown this before, but I just want to review the timeline. So at this point, you should have had your proposal, research, success criteria, action plan done. You have until Tuesday, April 5th to complete your personal project. We will on that Thursday have a lesson talking about your final report, which is just culminating and gathering all of your pieces of your project from throughout the process. And then your final report is Friday, April 22nd. Okay, so that's our timeline. And we have completed this first stage, hopefully, where we've a learning goal, product, success criteria, and action plan. And that's the planning portion of the personal project. So if you are still in that section, that's okay. If you're a little behind and you're confused of how to get yourself caught up, there's 2 essential assignments. So if you're behind, the 2 assignments you need to do to start your project is 8.6, advisory lesson number 6, success criteria and action plan. And in this assignment, you'll outline your learning goal, your product, how you're going to evaluate your success, and there's examples and ideas linked in there. And then you're also going to create your action plan. So how do you plan on allocating your time? What things do you need to do in order to complete your project by our due date? The second essential assignment is a works cited page, and this can take a couple different formats, but there's an assignment with some guidance on 8.4, and those 2 assignments are the essential pieces in order to jump into your project. One outlines all it, and one keeps all of the sources that you used, so we're ensuring academic honesty throughout the project. So if you're feeling a little behind, those 2 essential assignments, do those first, and you'll be all caught up. So now we're moving into the second stage of the personal project, the applying skills. And we want to consider how we have used skills to achieve our learning goal, right? So that's what skills we're learning in the process of completing our project. And then what skills have we used to achieve our product, to actually create the product or our outcome. And so we're going to use these ATL skills that I keep mentioning. An important part of the MYP personal project is reflecting on the ATL skills you've applied during your project and organizing that evidence to demonstrate your process. And so just as a reminder, there's 5 ATL skill categories. And within those categories, some of them are broken down into clusters. So within thinking skills, there's critical thinking, creative thinking, and transfer. And our goal for ATL, and really spending a lot of time reflecting on your ATL progress, is to learn how to learn, but most importantly, to learn how you learn. So to learn system processes, habits, and work study skills to help you be successful in completing whatever you want to do through high school and life and a career. And so how you learn and learning how you operate is an essential part of this project. And so just interesting piece of research just to share that a lot of this reflection on your ATL skills is research-based. So that research demonstrates that employees who spend 15 minutes at the end of the day reflecting about lessons learned performed 23% better after 10 days than those who did not reflect. So simply taking time, thinking about the skills you used, reflecting on how they went and what you learned can help you perform better. A study in the UK found that commuters found a similar result when those who were prompted to use their commute time to think about and plan for their days were happier, more productive, and less burnt out than people who didn't. So simply taking a second to reflect on your process has a profound effect on your success and your emotional well-being. So I'm going to read you an example reflection. I have linked this also in there so you can kind of see it. And let me just scoop my bubble over here so I can read it. Um, there we go. And I apologize. I'm just going to read it for you because this is the video. But again, it's linked for you to reference back to in our homepage and in our module. So they're applying ATL skills to create a product, and they're looking at the ATL skills of thinking skills, critical and creative thinking. When I was done with my research, I realized how challenging creating a traditional animation product really is, especially as an individual amateur. I decided that I needed to manage my time really well to avoid the risk of turning in an incomplete animation, and I had to think creatively to be successful. Throughout my planning and brainstorming process, I would often write ideas that I had to cut because they were unrealistic, and I would have to check that I'm not underestimating the difficulty of the project. When I realized I was behind schedule with my film production, I brainstormed some alternative ways for me to complete the project, such as changing movements of characters to something easier to animate or adding in less complicated background paintings. Once I started the animation process, I also briefly struggled with the software I was using, as the only animation software I was familiar with was CGI. However, since CGI and traditional animation are quite different, it wasn't easy to figure out the traditional software. To solve this problem, I added some time to my plan to just get to know the software, playing around and seeing what worked. I realized that I had to schedule the extra time. I didn't feel stressed and could take my time to get to know the program. After exploring the program, I started noticing similar terms in the options, eventually familiarizing myself with the software. This solution ultimately helped me to achieve my product as it allowed me the time I needed to ensure that I had the necessary skills. In the picture, you can see evidence of the software I used and some of the steps I took to develop my product. So I want to point out a couple things here. Sorry, moving my bubble back down. This is a great reflection. First, they identified that they were focusing on the product. So you're going to reflect both on your learning goal, the process and skills you learned throughout the personal project, as well as your reflection on actually creating the product. And so here they're really looking at and reflecting on creating their product, their animation that they were making. And they're focusing on thinking skills, creative and critical. So they identify the ATL category and cluster. And the third thing that I want you to notice is that they included evidence. They included a screenshot that showed the development of their personal project. So in your reflections, you need three components. You need to identify whether you're reflecting on your learning for the learning goal, the process and skills that you're learning along the way, or if this is an ATL skill that you're using for your final product. You need to identify the ATL, both the categories, so the five big categories, plus the cluster if that's applicable. And then you need to include a piece of evidence to show your use of that ATL skill. You're going to do this all in B.7, which is Applying ATL Skills Journal. These reflections are captured here, and from this, you'll just pull your strongest reflections to include in your final report. I have included in B.7 a couple prompts just to help you, prompts around common ATL skills like research skills or time management. If those are helpful, use them. If you would rather identify ATL skills that you think you've used, there are blank prompts at the bottom, and there's some structures to help you identify them too. So I include a list of all the ATL skills to help you, but also an interactive website where it will help you kind of determine what ATL skills you would like to focus on and that you've been using throughout the process. If you need help, just as a reminder, I'm always here. I am doing small group support sessions during academic support advisory periods, And there's a sign-up link in Canvas, and then I will email your advisory teachers that morning to let you know, and you will get a reminder email. If you'd like individual support, please feel free to email me, and I'm happy to meet with you. And I want to show you, just before we jump off real fast, just a reminder of the resources in our classroom. So in our classroom, I've added a section that has important dates, key assignments, and then the link to sign up for a support session with me, all in this top red box. Then below that, just as a reminder, every advisory lesson, and the most recent is at the top. So here's our lesson for today, and it has what you're supposed to be doing, the assignment, the on-demand video. So if you want to rewatch this video, the Google Slides, and then anything that might support that day's advisory. And so I have an example, that example reflection that we just reviewed is posted in there. And I have that for everyone. You can also go through our modules, and they're organized by date as well with all of this same material. Again, I hope that you are enjoying this process. I know this is a really busy and difficult year, and we are here to support you. And I'm so proud of the progress you guys all have made on your personal project. Thank you and have a wonderful day.